All right. Hey there, Modern Math Teacher. It is the episode you guys have all been waiting for because I'm here with none other than the math guru herself, Vanessa Vakharia. Vanessa, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
No, we're super excited that you are here because we have been unpacking your book for the last month. And actually, I think one of my favorite things it might have been like your This Week episode where you said that you actually do all of your nonfiction books on audiobook, right?
Mm-hmm.
So low-key, that's what I did the first time I read your book. And then I had to go out and buy it because it's hot pink and I needed to go take pictures like by my pool for social media. I was like, I can't have a book club without the book in my hand.
Honestly, truly love this. Love the aesthetic so much.
Yeah, it was a perfect poolside read. I love it because I think that there's so much that you get out of it, and it's like it was my second time reading / listening to it, and I got something different out of it this time than the last time, which I think is great. So I would just love to know, like, what's one like surprising thing that has come about for you since the book has gone viral.
Gone viral?
Yeah, it's viral. Everybody knows math therapy. Don't even.
I love that you just said that. I mean, love to hear it. Don't know that I believe it, but really love it. I think so much. Like, I published the book. Cool, yeah, whatever. And I feel like I've learned so much since then. I think this probably how so many authors feel. I'm like, oh my God, there's so much I want to go in and add now, right? Or what I think probably the coolest thing is so many educators are now using the activities. And then I learned so much from them about how they use them. Like they'll be like, oh, I used this and I did this tweak. And I'll be like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. So like, I love that because in a sense, we're like co-creating math therapy together, right? Like it's like people do it and make derivatives of it and iterations of it and it gets better and better. So I think it's really cool to see because like, we all have different experience and different personality to bring to it. And that's what I love the most.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that's my fear with like putting things into writing as opposed to doing like a podcast. Because a podcast, if I've got new and deep insight, right, I can just update my podcast literally in that same week. Whereas with a book, I'm like, oh, but then I would feel just like you, like, okay, well, but now I need to go make the second edition because I've got like 12 more things I need to add to this section alone. And yeah. I just love that.
Except like I don't want to make the second edition. I'm like, no, I just want to like erase a couple of things and put things in there. Or like, but I think probably that's why I have a podcast too. And whatever, like if you think about like building thinking classrooms or something, there's so much that has changed about that book since it's come out. And it's not like we need another book. I think that's what like the other resources are for and like the supplemental materials and like, I mean, think about any self-help book, right? It's like the OG iteration kind of shows like the seed of that thought and the foundation of it. And then the community gets to go and like co-create with that initial idea. And I don't think we need another, I mean, there are like updated editions of things. Yeah. Okay, I don't know why I'm now like pretending that I'm a publisher, but like, okay, great. Moving on.
No, you're right. And Peter even just came out with an update to his framework this week. So, so we're always growing and changing, and I love that. I think that's really like the heart of why I like sharing anything. I'm like, I'm gonna keep changing and evolving, and I want to share that with other people. Like every time I read something or do something, and so I don't know. I feel like when I first started reading your book this summer, I don't know about you, but I talked to Chat-GPT, like I leave it voice memos. And so every time I would like pause the audiobook and I would like brain dump all the things. And I was like, okay,
what were you saying? What were you saying to it?
Well, like just all the things that I love from each chapter. And I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of, for example, Barbie. And then literally turn the page and Barbie is right freaking there. And I was like, okay, Vanessa is in my mind. And then I would tell ChatGPT that, and it's like, you guys are, and I don't know if you use ChatGPT.
Wait, so hold on. What did Chat say? First of all, does Chat know me? Like, was it like, oh, I know her?
Oh, yes. Yes. It can tell me also, well, I mean, I don't know if any of it's true, but it likes to pretend that it knows you.
What's like the craziest thing? It's that, well, I'm also like, does it know me from me talking to it and that information gets to you?
I don't think so. That would be so creepy. Maybe. Let's
should I? I feel like after this, I'm going to be like, do you know Kristen Moore? And does she talk about me? And I'm going to see what it says.
You should, and then you should message me and tell me exactly if it does, because that would be super creepy. But yeah, and it came back with like 12 pages of things for me to talk to you about. I was like, well, that's not real. So, I was going to unpack the fact that I did not think that I had math trauma, and then I actually do,
What? Tell
and
me.
I
I
didn't
want to
know.
hear it.
Well, okay, so my history with math, like my parents are both accountants, so like math was just part of our daily life. Like it was
Mm.
not weird for me to like calculate the tip while we're out, having Friday night dinner. And I just really liked math. It was good. I don't know. But then I was in honors geometry, and I can vividly see her with her bitchy blonde hair up at the front, and she gave me a B plus on a project where I had to make a three-dimensional polyhedron. I don't even remember how many sides it had to have, but one of my angle measurements was off, and I think she just kind of hated me, like low key. So she was like, "Ooh, well, this angle's not right, so you get like an 89 instead of like a 90." And she is the one class that I didn't get an A in high school, and now I just kind of sound like a conceited brat. But that bitch like
Um,
made me mad.
yeah, I'm not hearing conceited brat. I'm hearing definitely like a tumultuous relationship with grading. That is probably the
Yeah.
subject of a whole other episode that we could talk about.
Oh my god, yes.
And I'm hearing some bias and almost like a little bit of bullying by an educator, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't either. I actually ended up dropping the honors program because of her. I know. So then that made me nervous because I'm teaching honors algebra 2 this year, which is the one honors class I never took as a student because of my honors geometry teacher. So I was
This
like,
is
I don't know.
well, but this is like the perfect moment for healing. Like this is going to be so restorative for you. Right?
I
Because
hope
I feel
so.
like when educators teach the thing that they were scared of or that they had their trauma in high school or elementary school or wherever that was, that is their opportunity for a redo and to like reparent their inner child by treating their students how they wish they had been treated.
Okay. I'm going to have to take that into this upcoming year because I've got
This
some
is going to be
anxiety
amazing.
around it. I've never
Oh,
taught an honors class. I've taught intervention. I've taught things like pre-calculus and the stats, like the upper level, the lower level. I've taught every level, but I've never taught an honors version of something. And I think it's because I hated what happened to me in the
yeah.
honors program.
Okay, so I feel like what we're going to do now is you just said you had some anxiety around it. You said you
Yeah.
hated what happened to you. Let's name what you hated that happened to you. Sorry, this is your interview. I am
No, I
realizing
love
I've
it.
now
No, it's
taken
great.
over. Okay. Okay, so can you name to me when you say I hate what happened to me, tell me specifically what happened to you that you hated. Let's go.
I feel like there was like public embarrassment
Great.
and shame.
Public
That
embarrassment
came
and
from
shame
it.
is number 1.
Yep.
Anything what's number 2? What else?
I feel like I guess I didn't feel like I was worthy enough to stay in the honors program if I couldn't be in that more rigorous class and still maintain an A.
Okay. Okay, got it. You didn't feel a sense of belonging. You felt like you couldn't
Yeah.
maintain the grade that was required to achieve the status of being in honors.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Oh my gosh.
There's something I want to say, but I want you to say. Like, I don't know. I don't want to project.
Oh gosh. Okay. I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I felt like I didn't belong with my friends then, and then I felt like less than, I guess, when I had to drop from the program,
Mm.
and yeah, that kind of stuck with me.
Did this all stem from this polyhedron situation?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So, what the other thing I'd like to like just throw out there and see if this is another thing that you hated that didn't happen to you. You came into this and told me this story and you were like, I really think she didn't like me. So I feel like another thing that
Mm.
happened to you is you felt like whoever you were, like the sense of belonging also got eradicated because you were like, I don't know, my teacher just didn't like me. There was something about me that made me unlikable to this expert in front of the room.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
feel like
absolutely.
that's okay. And it's also crazy that this all happened with, it's not crazy, but I think we should note this all happened with one incident. Like one incident that So now, okay, so we have like 4 things that you've listed, right? We have the public embarrassment and shame. We
Mm-hmm.
have the grade that you felt like you couldn't maintain. You felt like that was the expectation. You then felt less than when you had to drop it. And then you also felt like your personality and who you were somehow like made the expert in front of the room like mad and annoyed, right? Like
Yeah.
this, like your identity was in conflict with what she wanted.
Yes.
Okay, which is something I'm very used to. So now you get to be like, how am I going to make sure those things don't happen for my students? What could she have done differently?
Mm.
Like, let's replay this polyhedron thing. You
Oh
hand
my
in your
God.
assignment. What could she have done differently? Aside from giving you, hold on, aside from giving you the grade you wanted.
Right. No, I think she could have talked with me about it, like privately, like,
Yep.
hey, I don't know if, like maybe it got mangled in my backpack. I mean, we had textbooks back when you and I were in school, right? Like we had heavy things on our backs and like, hey, did you know that like this is a little bit bumped the wrong way? Do you want to fix that before you give it to me? Or just a private conversation about it would have been nice.
Okay, well, how nice is that for you and everyone listening? All you wanted was a conversation, right? A
Yeah.
chance to actually like communicate about it. And that is something, so that's something you're going to do, right? And
Yeah.
that's something everyone can do. We're not saying like if a teacher gives a student a grade that they don't like, that they're a bad teacher and they're going to traumatize their students. No, but a conversation, an understanding, a chance, right? Like, and also just like a moment to explain yourself. Maybe even a nice note from her being like, hey, I can tell you really tried on this, blah, 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 blah. So I'm giving you this mark. Like, we can chat about it if you want. An
Yeah.
opportunity. So there you go.
Right.
And you, I don't know you that well, but it really seems to me that communication is your strong suit. So,
Oh,
like,
thanks.
right? It
Yeah.
is. You have a
Yeah.
podcast, you talk to people, you run a book study. We're having a convo right now. Like, that's what you do. So, like, you are going to be able to do that for the students you're going to
Mm.
have in your very own honors course. So, already we're starting on a great foot.
Okay. All right. I like that reframe. And you're right. So I think like thinking about that and unpacking it, I think that's probably why I was drawn to things like project-based learning and mastery-based grading and like
Mm,
alternate forms of assessment
yes.
because sorry not sorry that my construction of a polyhedron was not freaking perfect, but I can tell you the exact angles it was supposed to be that I
Right.
was trying for. It's not my fault that my hands are fumbly or that it was stuck in my backpack. I know the math.
Okay, so let's add another thing to the list because we
Okay.
had 4 things. The 5th thing is you felt like the assessment did not actually match or reflect your knowledge level. And you,
Yes. You got that.
great.
Okay.
This is so
I think,
exciting. I'm so excited for you to start this course and do a follow-up app and tell us what is going on and what you're doing.
oh my God. All right. Well, I'm excited. Hopefully, I have to fight a battle a little bit with my honors algebra 2 team because they don't allow retakes in pre-calculus. And
Okay.
I've always allowed retakes. And so they're like, honors shouldn't allow retakes either. And I've just been like noodling on that because just like I was saying, like sometimes it's not the right form of assessment. Sometimes that's just not matching or vibing and sometimes you need a second chance.
Maybe sometimes you're having a bad day. So maybe this is a great, I mean, I would love to hear why they don't allow them, why they feel that conflicts with the idea of being an honor student. And maybe it's time to redefine, what does being an honor student mean? What is it supposed to mean? Actually, what does it mean? You
Right.
got to,
I don't know. I literally made a podcast about
well,
that. I was like, anyone who's taught honors, please tell me because I have trauma from being in honors, which I think is supposed to, I don't know, be like a more rigorous version of the curriculum to prepare you for like different higher
okay.
level things. I know for us, it's like if you're in honors algebra 2, your next step is pre-calculus and then calculus. Whereas my students who are in my standard algebra 2, some of them go to pre-calc. A lot of them will go to like stats or AP
Got it.
stats or there's more variety of where they go. So the honors students typically go deeper into like the algebraic rules and like the remainder theorem and things that I just don't do in my standard algebra 2 because like nobody needs to know that
But
crap.
you're talking about content differences,
Yeah,
not, oh, my honor students learn the exact same thing, but they only get one chance to do it. That's not what it means.
that's
You're
true.
saying an honors program it's a diversity of content, not a constriction of the ways in which you can express your knowledge. That's not what's supposed to define a student. So I think maybe a really good talk with this team being like, what do we want our honors program to reflect? What is it supposed to mean? And does not giving retakes actually align with that definition or not?
I love that. I think it's hard because we're the only honors class that, like, for math. Like, we got rid of honors geometry a long time ago
Right.
because it was always a content differentiator, and they were like, "There's no real difference in the content." So, and we got rid of honors algebra 1 because they're like, if you were in honors algebra 1 in ninth grade, shouldn't you have been in algebra 1 as a seventh grader? And I'm like, I don't agree with being in algebra 1 in seventh grade in general, but I was like, I guess I get that point. I don't know.
Well, let us know what happens
Interesting.
because there's a lot of
Okay.
stuff that I've now given you to do on your own podcast.
You have, and I love that. I'm here for it. Okay, so that's a little bit about my math therapy. Thank you for that. I do feel feel a little bit better going into this school year now. Like, okay, like this is why I'm feeling anxious about teaching honors, and these are some things that I know are true about me and true about my teaching beliefs, and I can be better for the honor students in my classroom. So,
But well, I feel like
for
thank you for
that.
letting us do that because I actually think that is so useful for anyone listening. That's exactly it. Why are you anxious about teaching whatever it is, right? Like a lot of
Yeah.
educators have anxiety about the course they're teaching or the unit. What is it? Let's pinpoint it. Let's make a list. Let's ask what could have been done differently when you were learning that thing, and now you get to go do it. Easy
I love
peasy.
that.
1, 2, 3.
Right. And that's still something we can do in July, friends, because we're not asking you to plan your
Yeah.
content right now. We're just asking you to be like, why am I anxious to teach an intervention class or to teach, I don't know, geometry? Maybe you've never taught it before and you're like, I don't know. And maybe it
Yeah.
was your least favorite high school class, like it was mine. And, yeah. So easy reflection that you guys can do poolside. I love that. Okay. So other thoughts are that you and I have seen so much of this crap online lately that our students are going to be needing math trauma and math therapy from. I'm talking like we had Barbie, right? That was one thing, but the shirts, the phone cases, the TikToks, everything where they're like, I'm not pretty enough to do math or whatever it is. It's like that
Oh,
that is
I'm
why
too pretty to do math. I'm
Oh yeah,
too pretty to do math.
I'm too pretty to do math. Like what kind of bullshit is that? Like I really think our students are all going to need some math therapy coming back in the fall, and I want to know what are your thoughts, like how, like, this is a prime time to combat that. Like what do you think we should be doing in August? Ugh, gross. When we go back to school. I just said that out loud.
Okay, well, first of all, like there are tons of states that are going back to school like next week.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, friend.
Okay, so here's the thing. I really do believe knowledge is power, and I think the biggest problem I see is when we talk about these things and people are like, that doesn't happen. Like, what do you mean? Like, I hear lots of people being like, well, girls don't get those messages anymore. And I actually think if we're going to like try and be as positive as we can, the fact that like Meijer, like one of Australia's biggest retailers, started selling a shirt saying, I'm too pretty to do math.
Yeah.
By the way, a shirt which was sold in the early 2000s and removed off shelves by another company. This happens every few years, right? So the fact that they did that is a nice reminder to us all that there is still a problem, right? Merchandise reflects the ethos of a culture. So the fact that this merchandise is being sold, it's being sold because somebody wants it, because somebody believes it. So we have to remember when things like this happen, it's a sign to us to be like, oh shit, we're not out of the clear yet. We still have work to do. The other thing is, you're like, what can we do right now? There are lots, the people who are affected by this the most are the girls themselves, right? And it's the same with the whole girl math trend. What happens is a shirt like I'm too pretty to do math comes out, and girls who have felt isolated by mathematics will be like, oh my God, amazing. I love it. And just like that, they're playing into the hands of like, these pop culture machines that are trying to regenerate these stereotypes, bring them back to life and like keep them active because it harms girls and it empowers everyone else. But women don't, or like especially young girls are not as media savvy as those who are studying this phenomenon. So empowering them with that knowledge. I just did a workshop actually right before school started at an all-girls school. And we did this. We had these 4 stations and it was all about stereotypes around mathematics and math identity.
Yeah.
And, I started with a little preamble of like, what do you notice in the media about characters who are good at math, getting them to take ownership over it themselves. So if you are around young kids this summer, your own kids, a friend's kids. It's a great conversation to have. Like, hey, like, talk to me about some of your favorite characters, your favorite YouTubers, your favorite TikTokers. Do they ever talk about math? How do they talk about math? And then just posing questions, right? This is what I really suggest we do, especially as the year starts. What do you notice? Ask kids to name it for you. And eventually getting to the part of, what do you notice about the characters that like math? What are they like? Do you think it's weird that? Have you ever seen memes like this? What do you think this is telling you? Get them to say, well, I guess it's saying that girls can't be pretty and do math at the same time. Just sit there for a second and let them say that and be like, do you think that's bad or good or what? Because what's happening is so many women and girls have been told forever that they don't belong in the world of math, that this feels like a comfort piece, right? As opposed to really pointing out to them that this is actually playing upon the same reason you didn't feel like you belonged in the first place. And you are being told you can't do math just in this very like subversive way. So sorry, that was a very long rant.
No, I love it.
Your question is, what can we do right now? And the real thing is, we can share this stuff. We can share this content. We can talk about it, and we can just start a conversation with literally anyone who will listen. So people start being like, "Oh yeah, I guess it's weird." It's the Whisper Network that pulled this Meyer shirt off the shelves, right? It's this network of all of us that are sharing these posts, writing open letters, like causing enough of a buzz. Like my degree is in marketing, and my master's thesis was called "Imagining a World Where Paris Hilton Loves Math," and like I literally studied this. Yeah, this is my area of expertise. Gender and mathematics and marketing is my area of expertise, and I can just say, companies only buy what they can sell. Like we actually are, the end consumer is the decision maker. It is the one who can decide whether or not something is sold. If we don't buy something, they don't make it, right? So like we want to, that's it. That's the end of it. It's the same with TV shows, same with whatever. Like if we are not consuming it, there's no reason for a company to make it. So we have a lot of power, and I think we have to harness that. And the first way we harness that is, our greatest form of power is knowledge. Let's talk about these things. Let's talk about why they're wrong. Let's get everyone on board.
I love that. So two parts of this thought. One, I want to know your thoughts on like if a student walked into your studio or into your classroom and was wearing one of those shirts or had that like that phone case. It's tote bags. It's on all sorts of things. One, I want to know what you would do if you saw that. And then two, I want to know your thoughts on like, what if we like sent our students to go find that evidence? Like, go find me all the bullshit out there right now, and let's talk about why this is not okay.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the second question first because it's easier. I love that. I really think when people take accountability over their own knowledge, they're more likely to believe it. We all know that when we're told something, A, we get defensive and we don't want to listen, and B, it doesn't seem real. The greatest form of knowledge is your own experience. That is the greatest form of deep knowing, is when you experience something yourself and you know it to be true. Totally get students to go out and do it. Be like, you guys have 48 hours. I want you to find me whatever you can about blank, pop culture and math, girls and math, this, whatever it is. Like you make it up. Let them go out there and scavenger hunt, and then they have to present it to the class, right? They can make a TikTok video. They can like get up there. I think it would be sick. So like, please do that.
That would be amazing. I totally will. And that, like you just said, the TikTok video, that got me thinking like they could redo those TikToks like in math class and just like flip the script on that shit and take ownership of it. Right?
So
if you change the script and change the narrative.
I do a workshop that I go around to schools, and I do this, and it's like 4 different stations around math identity and stereotypes, and one of them is called Math Makeover, and that's literally what we do. They're allowed to make over anything. They can rewrite the script to Mean Girls. They can find an ad that's outdated and remake it. They can make their own swag around math. They just have to that's exactly it. I can even send you the prompt cards to it. Like I have the whole like lesson plan for it.
Oh my God, that'd be so fun.
It goes over so well. Like, and the things they come up with, like I'm always like, that is so creative. Like, so kids, once you tell students that they are being told something, like you guys are being told that you can't do math, they get pissed and they want to rally against it. So, which leads to the first question, which is pretty difficult. So let's say a girl walks in wearing a shirt that says, "I'm too pretty to do math." Number one, no one wants to shame anybody, right? Especially not publicly. Yeah, I think
Unpack that.
honestly, I would just do what my go-to is in any tricky situation, which is ask. Like I'd be like, "Ooh, where'd you get that shirt?" And then I'd be like, "What made you want to buy it?" And I
Mm,
would just hear what came up because my response is really going to depend on what she says. Like I would want to hear it.
yeah.
I'd want to be like, okay, interesting. Like what does she say? Like that's it. Like that's all I would do in that situation. Now, it's if uh um a non-female student, if a boy walked in wearing a shirt saying girls are too pretty to do math, that would be a very different conversation. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
or girls can't be pretty and do math. Like, if a guy was wearing that, I'd be like, like again, I would take
Excuse
the
me
same
here.
approach. Yeah, excuse me, sir. I would take the same approach, but my follow up would likely be. Sorry, I'm just gonna plug myself in. My follow up would be a lot more like, "This is the message you're sending. Do you really want to be sending that message? Take that fucking shirt off." I'm kidding, but
Let
like,
me
do you know what I
just send
mean?
you
Like,
down
I'd
to the
be like,
lost and found. You can go get a sweatshirt to cover that up.
exactly. Look, if they were like, whatever, it's funny, I'd be like, why do you think it's funny? Because a lot of it is them coming to the understanding that the reason it's funny is because it's based on a stereotype that people believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would never be wearing a shirt that said boys like handsome boys don't do math, or like I don't know, hot guys don't do math. That's not a stereotype, so it wouldn't make sense like to
Wouldn't make
even
any sense.
put on a shirt. Wouldn't make any sense. So it's like really getting them to do that work.
Mm.
But yeah, I think of a girl. I mean, there's tons of girls who are into girl math, and it's
Yeah.
I'm always bashing it online, and girls will be like, I think it's funny, this and that, and I'll be like, yeah, cool. Like, I always want to be gentle because remember, they are the ones who are being targeted here.
Right.
It's different, right? So it's like somebody's wearing that shirt because of their own math trauma. So I'm going to be a little more gentle, maybe like ask some questions, let them come to their own whatever. Like, and that's probably all I'm
I
going to
like
do,
that.
depending on what they say.
Okay. I like that a lot. Because you're right. We want to get curious with them about why they feel like that's their safety net. I feel like, right? They're
Yes.
like, I'm too pretty to do math. Maybe that's covering up, some multiplication times tale trauma from second grade that we don't know anything about. Just like they didn't know about me and my polyhedron project. And like
Yeah.
clearly I've overcome that. I'm a big math fan now. But now like I don't buy shirts that I'm like, I'm too pretty to do math or anything like that. I buy shirts that are like, holy shift, check out the
I love
asymptote on
that
that
shirt.
mother function because those are the
I
math
love
shirts
that.
that I think are funny and are my favorite to sneakily wear to school.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Me too. Oh my god. Okay, so I
You're
don't want to take up your whole day, friend, but I got to know. Everybody, we just finished reading the book. Everyone should be finishing it this week. We like did 2 chapters
Oh my
a week. It
God.
was perfect timing. Fantastic. So for my friends who have been like listening along, reading along, like what's one message or encouragement you can give to them as they go into the next school year?
Honestly, I think my biggest message is number one, you're amazing. Thank you for caring. The fact that you care
Yeah.
about the way your students feel about math speaks volumes. Even if you don't do any of the book is divided into like activities and actions, and
Yep.
it is often the smallest, I don't want to say smallest, but the things that take the least amount of time that actually make the biggest impact. So even if you're like, I don't have time to be doing all these activities, no worries. Something as low lift as crouching down next to a student when you're talking to them instead of standing over top of them, or saying to a student, that was awesome, I really liked how you did blank blank, and giving them a specific compliment on something they did, though
Yeah.
that takes 5 seconds. That is going to make a bigger difference than doing an entire big project about whatever. It really is. It's the way you treat someone. And I said this in my latest podcast episode that we don't just teach our students math, we teach our students how to feel about math. So your attitude around math, like as I say in the book, right? We might not all be teachers of math, but we're all teachers of math attitudes. Your
Right.
attitude around math is the most important thing, is the thing people see and feel the most. So you know what? Honestly, as we get closer back to school, do a little investigation. What are your attitudes around math? Which
Mm.
of those attitudes do you want to keep? Which align with your new story? Which are stuck in your old story? Which can you purge? Which new ones can you adopt? And think of it as your first day of school outfit, right? Like, what
Yeah.
is your first day of school math attitude fit that you are going to be holding as you walk into the classroom.
I love that. And good news, listeners, that is some deep reflecting you can do poolside with your favorite beverage of choice, be it a bubbly, a truly, a coffee. Live your dream, friends. But take that moment to be reflective. I think that's what I've liked most about going through this book a second time is getting a chance to reflect on it again and see how I've grown and changed and getting messages from the listeners about what's resonating with them and how they're growing and changing. So Vanessa, I just want to thank you again so much for writing this book. It's beautiful and adorable, and now I have it in hard copy, so I can like actually share it with people. Other than just telling them how great I think it is. And I just really appreciate you taking your time to be with us here on this beautiful July day.
Well, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's been reading it. Thank you for the support of my work. But more importantly, thank you for all the work you're doing every day because you guys are making the difference. And we have a math therapy Facebook group. So come join us if you want to like have a place to chat for the year and share resources. And if you love the book, like consider maybe leaving me an Amazon review. You absolutely don't have to, but someone left a 1-star review and I need to water that down. Water that up. They need to dilute it. Well, they left it because it was too expensive for them, which like has nothing to do with me. But like obviously I'm not out here shilling for reviews, but now I realize you're not editing this. So it really sounds like I am out here shilling for
please
reviews.
Go leave reviews. I bought this in audiobook and in paperback. So clearly worth the price if I bought it twice.
Well, I have no control over the price.
Reviews.
I can't control it. There's nothing I can do. But anyways, if you liked it, consider leaving a review because we all know people like are more likely to leave a bad review. So I'd really, if you liked it, consider it. And hopefully I'll see you on Facebook. And also, again, thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for choosing this book. And thank you for like spending your time reading it and for everything you're doing to help everyone around you build a better relationship with math.
Oh my God, amazing. All right, you guys. So keep reading if you haven't. Take a picture, leave a review on Amazon. And as always, you guys, keep it real. Bye, everybody.